So I don't know how many of you out there can relate to this, but I pretty much go through life constantly feeling like I have to take the long way around just to get to the house next door. And this is especially in social situations. And I want to talk about why it's not necessarily a weakness. It's actually a great strength that I just figured out that I have. I feel like I'm constantly tired and exhausted. Partially, yes, because I am this very deep, analytical type of thinker. So I can't go into situations just face first, just giving face value. Unfortunately, a lot of my value is contained within my soul and my intellect and my spirituality. And yes, it puts me at a disadvantage, but if we could get back to the metaphor of me walking around the whole neighborhood just to get to the house next door, this actually allows me to see things in a very in-depth and magical way. While the feeling of taking the long way around just to get to the house next door, it is exhausting, it's frustrating, it makes you feel invisible. It's all of those parts in this experience. However, my brain naturally is just doing 1,000 different things as I'm walking to this house next door. It's literally mapping the neighborhood. It's processing sounds and energy, which lead to just being overwhelmed. And this consumes a lot of mental energy, right? Deeply analytical girls who are dealing with ADHD and other things like that. We're navigating a very complex, almost infrastructure, all while we're trying to appear calm and normal on the surface. For instance, just think about being at work and you're constantly fighting the impulse to get off topic or stand up and just go do something or go talk to somebody. Active listening. Don't interrupt people while they're talking, which actually feels like it's so unnatural. To me, stuff like that feels like I'm holding back a sneeze for the last hour. It just doesn't feel okay. We don't feel super natural and comfortable in most social environments. Constantly wondering, okay, is my face right? Am I giving the right body language? And I was talking to this lady at work. I always get excited when I meet new people. I sound like a fucking dog. So yeah, I always get excited when I meet new people. But yeah, I was asking her about what it was like to live in New York and if she liked it here. And I don't know, I guess my face immediately changed. And she was like, in the middle of explaining it, and she's like, why? And she stopped talking about her story. And she was like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just listening to you. I'm just listening to you tell your story. It's not that I'm unengaged. It's literally me trying to take in all the information she was saying and filing it away. So apparently in doing that, my masking slipped, and then because she stopped in the middle of what she was saying and she was like, what's wrong? Is something wrong? So my facial expression had changed. I was no longer giving happy, bright eyes, engaged look. My mask had slipped, and then I was in full blown, hey, this is a job. We have to listen to what she's saying to report it back to her when she's done, take all of this information in. It became like, I'm just saying that to show just how tasking something as easy as tell me about where you're from can be for us. Not to mention, we are always talking to ourselves internally, and we don't always speak kindly to ourselves. So we have very biased and just negative information coming into us. And it's also, I do think highly sensitive people are extremely deeply caring, but we kind of just let bad information, we just let it sit there and we tend to just analyze it. One of the things I love about this new journey that I'm taking is realizing and reframing all of these things that I thought were not gifts. Now I'm looking at them as the gifts they are. Our brains allow us to see the world in a very beautiful and uniquely engaging way. However, living in the world, it can definitely feel like, why the fuck do you need all of these useless gifts? I want to remind us that when we allow ourselves to see the world in a different way, we are becoming leaders and visionaries and creators. So one of our biggest gifts, I think, is our ability to analyze things and to weigh pros and cons. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I know every time I take like a personality assessment or a strengths finder type test, it will always tell me how I am empathic and how I'm able to pick up fairly quickly people's gifts and their weaknesses. We are really good at detecting, okay, what can go wrong, and we don't pay a whole lot of attention to what can go right. I will admit that. And I thought for a long time that that made me a negative person. And people would make me think that that makes me a negative person. But like I said, spiritually and in my soul, I just feel like I'm supposed to be this way. So I'm reframing that in a way that is giving myself grace. And I'm just going to say I'm not a pessimistic or negative person. I have an extremely high level of discernment and creative problem solving. For you to be able to see cracks in foundations before the cracks even get there, it's almost like a superpower. And we also underestimate our ability to problem solve because we are so focused and honed in on the fact that we found all of these cracks. But if you give us a long enough time, we will also come up with a very innovative solution to these cracks in that foundation. And when it comes to people, especially I think with women who think so critically and who are able to reflect and analyze, our minds will spiral. And it's not just anxiety. I understand, like, we have symptoms of anxiety, and yes, we have to get those under control. But again, it's definitely your spirit trying to live authentically in this life. You're not feeling stuck. You're actually excavating and you're digging for the meaning behind all of your beliefs, all of these biases, all of your values on a level that most people don't really ever get to. Our way around is very exhausting. As we do see the world in 4K, we can become these insightful, deep thinking, wise sages as we get older. And our gift back to the universe is, first of all, the perspective that we gained from our journey. Our second gift, I definitely feel, is us extending our hand to help others and maybe help change their world and help change how they feel about. I just want to nurture and protect critical thinkers and wisdom seekers and those who are on this creative journey. We can create a path with rich, insightful details and generate such wisdom and hope for the future. We're creative, we're passionate, we're loving, we are deeply empathetic people, and we feel the world in 4K. And our gift back to humanity should be that perspective.